Before we start, I want to explain to you what the Sandman actually is. If you already know what the Sandman is, or you have a greater knowledge on the subject than I, then feel free to leave it in the comment section. The Sandman TV series is actually based on a comic book or graphic novel of the same name by author Neil Gaiman and artist Sam Keith, Mike Dringenberg, Jill Thompson, Sean McManus, Mark Hempel, Brian Talbot, and Michael Sully, with lettering by Todd Klein and covers by Dave McKean. The original series ran for 75 issues from January 1989 to March 1986. Beginning with issue number 47, it was released under DC's Vertigo imprint, which retired in 2020. Reprints of Sandman are now released under DC's Black Label imprint. The main character of Sandman is Dream, also known as Morpheus, who is one of the Endless, a somewhat dysfunctional family of 7 godlike entities siblings, including Destiny, Death, Desire, Despair, Delirium, formerly known as Delight, and Destruction, also known as the Prodigal. All of the siblings are the physical personifications of an aspect of life. Sandman introduces the mythology of the dreaming into the DC universe. For as long as creatures across the multiverse possess the ability to dream, the reality known as the dreaming will always exist, and of course the Lord of Dreams is the godlike entity Morpheus. The Sandman is a story about stories and how Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams, is captured and subsequently learns that sometimes change is inevitable. I hope this gave you a greater understanding about the Sandman. This was only to teach you about the overview because the entire story can't be explained in 2 minutes give or take. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Phantom and today I want to talk about Netflix The Sandman and whether or not it will actually succeed. I'm not doubting the quality of the show. I think Neil Gaiman has put his heart and soul into the series to make it as faithful to the graphic novel as possible. What I'm more worried about is its release date and whether or not it will get crushed between other more well-known or already established series and movies. If you go on to enjoy today's video, please consider leaving a like and maybe subscribe, as it would greatly help push my videos in the algorithm so you can reach more eyes. But enough of me being a sellout, let's first talk about Netflix Sandman and then we're going to get into my worries about the series. The Sandman is an upcoming American fantasy drama television series scheduled to release August 5th, 2020. The series was developed by Neil Gaiman, David S. Goyer, and Alan Heinberg for Netflix and is being produced by DC Entertainment and Warner Bros. Television. It stars Tom Sturridge as Dream, Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, my favorite and the best Doctor Who companion, Jenna Coleman as Joanna Constantine, Kirby Hall-Baptiste as Death, Mason Alexander Park as Desire, Boyd Holbrook as the Corinthian, Patton Oswalt as Matthew the Raven, Donna Preston as Despair, and the one and only God of War and Lycan himself, David Thewlis. Efforts to adapt Sandman into a film began all the way back in 1991 and has been stuck in development hell until a few years ago. In 2013, Goyer pitched a film adaptation of the series to Warner Bros. Goyer and Gaiman were set to produce alongside Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who planned to star and possibly direct. However, Gordon-Levitt left the project over creative differences in 2016. Due to prolonged development of the film, Warner Bros. Shifted its focus to television. Netflix signed a deal to produce the series in June 2019, and filming lasted from October 2020 to August 2021. The Sandman is scheduled to debut on Netflix on August 5th, 2022, with its first 10 episodes. The premise of the show reads as following. In 1916, Morpheus, the King of Dreams, and one of the 7 Endless is captured in an occult ritual. After being held captive for 105 years, Morpheus escapes and is set out to restore order to his kingdom of the dreaming. Now, let's talk about why I'm worried about the Sandman's success and the show's most likely to interfere with its success. Pretty Little Liars Original Sin is an upcoming American teen drama mystery series set to release July 28. Just 8 days before The Sandman. It is the 4th series in the Pretty Little Liars franchise, which is based on the novel of the same name by Sarah Shepard and takes place within the same continuity as the other series. The series follows the lives of a group of teenage girls who begin receiving messages from the mysterious assailant named A, holding them responsible for something tragic that happened in the past. To me, that sounds pretty much like the premise of the first Pretty Little Liars series, though if I remember correctly, I only watched about 3 episodes or something like that. The series features an ensemble cast of pretty young women just like every other Pretty Little Liars series. Pretty Little Liars is headed by Chandler Kinney, Maya Refico, Bailey Madison, and Maria Piles. And somehow I missed out on someone called Mallory Betchel. I'm truly sorry. and I'm so sorry for butchering those names. I cannot pronounce these names, okay? I'm horrible at it. If I just spoiled to you who A is, then I'm truly sorry, but with that said, you should just watch The Sandman instead. The only interesting thing about this series is to follow these women's Instagram accounts and monitor how many millions of followers they will gain from being in the series. Pretty Little Liars obviously releases on HBO Max and not on Netflix, unlike The Sandman, but it could still take away viewers from The Sandman. Pretty Little Liars Original Sin already has a foundation. It is based on the Pretty Little Liars franchise, which is, I don't know if it's huge, but it got like 7 seasons or something like that. And I know it dipped in quality in the later seasons, but still, people talked about it when it was out, so this is gonna have a connection to that, which means that it already has an establishing viewer base. And it only releases 8 days before The Sandman, and that has me a little worried. But let's move on to the next movie this time, and it's from DC and obviously Warner Brothers. It is DC League of Super Pets, and DC League of Super Pets is apparently based on a really iconic DC superhero team called Legion of Super Pets. Super Pet is obviously a movie and not a series, so it might not interfere much with The Sandman. The movie has a stellar voice cast with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, John Krasinski, Ben Schwartz, Keanu Reeves, Kevin Conroy, and Olivia Wilde, and many others. Now, as I said, I don't think this will interfere much with The Sandman. It releases 6 days before The Sandman, but it is a movie and it's a pretty niche movie as well, so I don't think that it will interfere much with The Sandman, but obviously it's gonna run in theaters for a month or even more, so it might take away from Sandman viewership, but I don't think it has the same audience, but you know, yeah, I just put it there because it releases close to Sandman. On the 5th of August, when The Sandman releases, it has serious competition from 4 different movies, including They Slash Them, Prey, Bodies, 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 and Bullet Train. All these movies have pretty good hype behind them, and some of them are released straight to streaming. The movie Prey has particularly captured my curiosity. The movie serves as a prequel to all other movies in the Predator franchise and stars Amber Midhunter, who is very pretty, I do have to say. I don't know why this movie interests me, but somehow it does. The trailer really captured me for some reason. They Slash Them, or They Slash Them, it's a very unique movie in my opinion. Its sole marketing is that it is an LGBT horror thriller film. I mean, that's not a criticism, by the way. The movie is literally being described as a queer empowerment story set at a gay conversion camp. Oh my god, alright, I'm horrible at reading. The movie will stream on Peacock, unfortunately. No one uses Peacock. It's going to be interesting to see if this movie will be successful or not. It stars Kevin Bacon and features John Logan in his directorial debut. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is another movie starring a lot of pretty women and Kim Kardashian smasher Pete Davidson. I'm sorry, that was in poor taste. But the movie is an A24 production and is a black comedy slasher film. A group of 7 young friends have a party at a remote mansion during a hurricane, hosted by a childhood best friend, Sophie, who is recently sober, and David, who is excessively wealthy. B is the working class girlfriend of Sophie and new to their group of friends. She is naive to the kind of partying they host and eats a large amount of cake without realizing it is an edible. An edible is a drug. Well, I think it's a drug in a cake or something like that, cannabis in a cake. One of the guests, Jordan, also warns B that Sophie is not who she seems. Sophie, having been in rehab, has not spoken to others in the group for some time, and social dynamics are awkward between them. I mean, that doesn't exactly sound like 7 Friends to me. The movie actually stars Amanda Stenberg, Maria Bakalova, Rachel Sennett, Shui Wonders, what a name I do have to say, Pete Davidson, Mila Harold, and Lee Pace as Greg for some reason I put. Now, as I said, those are the 3 movies that have significant hype or some hype behind them. I mean, especially Prey and They Slash Them have some pretty good hype. And Bullet Train stars Brad Pitt, so you know that could also be huge, and he has said he might retire, so Bullet Train could be one of his last movies, which means people are probably going to watch Bullet Train if they like Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt has star power, I think, but obviously none of them are serious, so that could help the Sandman massively. Now to a series that releases about 1 week after the Sandman. It is Tales of the Walking Dead. And Tales of the Walking Dead is an upcoming American post-apocalyptic horror drama anthology series and a spin-off of The Walking Dead, and is the 4th series in the Walking Dead franchise. Now, Tales of the Walking Dead is an episodic anthology series that is based on new and existing characters within the Walking Dead universe. The tagline for the series is 6 different stories, 1 dead world. The series stars Poppy Liu, or Poppy Lou, Terry Crews, Jesse T. Usher, better known as A-Train, I believe. Is he called A-Train? Yeah, A-Train from The Boys, right? And then Olivia Munn, Danny Ramirez, Daniela Pineda, I'm sorry for butchering that again, and Parker Posey, or Posey. This series and the last series I'm going to mention are the biggest threat to the Sandman, even though they release about 1 week after the Sandman. But anyway, that leads me into my next series. I know She-Hulk Attorney at Law comes out 12 days after the Sandman, but I still feel like it's close enough to the Sandman to directly affect it. The stats that really matter to streaming services and are fundamental to this series' survivals are first week streaming numbers, and the Sandman has 10 episodes releasing day and date, so realistically you could be able to finish it before She-Hulk even comes out, and She-Hulk is probably the most direct rival, and it has that MCU connection which already inflates its numbers. The Sandman is pretty niche and is streaming on a dying platform as of right now, though Netflix still have plenty of subscribers and they still have Stranger Things and The Witcher. She-Hulk also seems really rough around the edges. I mean, did you see the first images from the trailer? Yes, I know, nightmare fuel, but it seems like Marvel have been fine-tuning the CG and are very much trying to pull us back into the series and convince us that the series actually looks good. But I think they are going in the right direction. The last images that I showed, she looked great. The series stars Jamila Jamil, Tatiana Maslany, Ginger Gonzaga, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Mark Ruffalo, and Tim Roth. As I mentioned before, Tales of the Walking Dead and She-Hulk are probably the Sandman's biggest threat, and hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully the Sandman will be very successful for Netflix and it will be spawning spin-offs like Constantine shows. I mean, I would really like a Constantine show, I'm not gonna lie. I know we already had a Constantine show that got cancelled after 8 to 10 episodes. And obviously he moved on to the Arrow show, Matt Ryan. And obviously Matt Ryan is not the Constantine of this series, there's gonna be another actor. So if they're making spin-offs of the Sandman, he's probably gonna be playing Constantine. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the video. I don't know if it made any sense, but yeah, I am worried about the Sandman, and maybe I don't need to be concerned. Maybe it's gonna do just fine. Maybe people are so hyped that they will put everything on pause just to watch the Sandman. Let me know if you are hyped or excited about the Sandman. I mean, I know there's some controversy about race bending and gender bending, but these are literally personifications of a spectrum, which means that in reality they probably shouldn't have a gender. And in the comics or the graphic novel, let's mention Death here. Death is genderless, but hey, I have rambled on for way too long, so yeah, goodbye.